Today we have a 2015 BMW M4, and the F82 just went out of production, so is now the time to go find yourself a used M4? The BMW M4 came out in 2015, and it just came to the end of its life cycle. They stopped production on this car March of 2020, which means that you might be able to get a good deal on one of these on the used market. So should we start to pay attention to the M4 as the next generation comes out? Let's start off by talking about the exterior styling and what I actually really like about the M4. The M4 is really just an evolution of the E92 M3 as far as exterior styling. It looks pretty similar, but it's just a little bit more fluid, whereas the E92 is a little bit more, I'd say, linear in the way that it looks. Now, I love the M cars and their big hips and their big shoulders up front, and I think it just gives this car a really brawny, aggressive and assertive look, but it's also professional and it's still refined, and I think that's what the M cars do so well, is that if you don't really know cars that well, this may look like just a 4 Series to somebody who's unaware. So this M4 is 5 years old, and the interior is actually in great shape. It doesn't really show a whole lot of wear. Now, this is a pretty low miles car at 43,000 miles, but it looks pretty much new in here, and it looks modern, and it looks current. So if you're looking at one of these on the used market, I would say that you're not gonna really be disappointed. I love these seats, and I also think that this particular interior looks awesome with the red coral seats. This one doesn't have that, but I've seen it in pictures and it just looks insane. Now, the iDrive system, while it's not their newest iteration of the iDrive system, it has aged pretty well. It's an HD screen, it all functions very well. The only thing is that it doesn't really have Apple CarPlay on it. Not that big of a deal. I've been reading online that you can actually modify it in the aftermarket to add Apple CarPlay after the fact. Apple CarPlay was actually introduced in 2017 on the M4. So if that's something that's really important to you, maybe you go for one of those models. But I really don't think you could go wrong in here. So let's take it out for a drive and I'll tell you kind of what my thoughts are on it. So let's just start off right off in M mode, Sport Plus, in all of its settings. Because you don't buy an M car without giving a good rip. Whew. That's a big number that I don't want to admit to. Now, let me just start off by saying I'm a fan of M cars. Always have been. First M car I ever drove was an E46 M3. It was a Mola red. It was a convertible with cinnamon leather. And I love that car. And from that point on, I knew that someday I would probably have an M car in my lineup at some point. Which someday I'm going to make happen. Now, that's why I'm reviewing an M4. They've become relatively affordable considering that the new one is about to come out. This is a 2015, and when I look at Auto Trader and I start searching Auto Tempest, I can find 2015 and 16 BMW M4s for less than $40,000. And to me, that is a whole lot of car. That's an inline 6 twin turbo with 425 horsepower, 406 foot-pounds of torque that you're never gonna get sick of. Now, when this car came out, it was a little bit of, there was some controversy to it. And it was because it wasn't naturally aspirated. The E92 M3 was a 4-liter V8 And everybody loved that thing because it revved to the moon and it made all these crazy noises. I'll admit, the F82 M4 doesn't quite sound as great as the E92 M3. Everybody said it until they're blue in the face, but everything else about this car subjectively is better. It has more power, it's stiffer, it handles better, it actually has some torque. And in my opinion, this might be the better of the two cars right now. And the reason I say that is because the E92 M3 has started to become kind of expensive. You want a low miles car, and you're gonna start to pay in that mid-30s range for a clean E92. Why would you do that when you could buy an M4 that is probably gonna be a little bit more comfortable, it's a little bit more updated, and I suspect that they're gonna hit their bottom as far as depreciation relatively soon. Now, have they hit the rock bottom? Probably not. Let's give it another, like, I would say 18 months, and we'll probably see the very bottom of the depreciation curve on these cars. But even right now, I think it's a good buy, and I think you should consider it, because I'm having a great time in this car. Getting passed by Hyundai Sonatas because I don't want to flex and go to jail today. Totally could though. Totally could. It's getting a little dark out. Yeah. Another cool thing about the M4 is that when you put it into comfort mode, it really just kind of puts the car to sleep. And it's just a normal, everyday car. Honestly, it doesn't really feel that different than my 335 IS. In fact, it feels very much the same. This car feels a lot like my IS, and I guess in concept, a lot of it is the same. Inline 6 twin turbo, 7-speed DCT gearbox, but it's got all of the M specialty to it. And I guess that's what really makes it more special, is that it feels like an M car. It's sharp and it's focused, and that's what I really like about this one. And that's why I think it's something that I personally will consider when I start looking for my next car. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of the F82 M4. Do you think it's a good buy right now? And if you didn't buy one, what would you buy? What should I compare it to? See you on the next one.